Next, we have another Fireside chat. This one is called That Fintech with a Layer of Blockchain. This chat is with Sopnendu Mohanty, Chief FinTech Officer at the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and our very own moderator, Gabriel Yang, Head of Asia at BlockShow. Sopnendu is also one of the key figures behind the very recently successful Singapore FinTech Festival that just ended yesterday. If you have a question for Sopnendu, please use slido.com, enter the code BlockShow2019, select stage 1, scan the QR code that will appear on the screen, and write down your question. Now, please welcome Sopnendu and Gabriel.
Where should we sit? Right in the middle?
Oh, where you want me?
Yeah, just wherever.
Okay.
In the middle, everybody can see you. Right. Good morning. Okay. Very quickly, name is Gabriel. You probably heard, part of the BlockShow team, also head of Asia. Just a little bit of very quick background. I've been running tech startup conferences for the best part of a decade already. Used to be part of a tech media company as well in Singapore. Seen the growth from startups even before people could spell venture capital. It's been in the scene, and basically recently, obviously, Christians into the blockchain industry as well. I think just to start things off, we've got two introductions for Sopnendu here, right? We've got a short version and a long version. So depending on, can I get some lights on the audience? Okay, guys, very quickly, hands up, who knows MAS? Who knows what MAS does? Quickly, this is real, this is legit. How many of you know MAS? Seriously, there are people who actually don't know who MAS is. Monetary Authority of Singapore, right? Hands up, keep the hands up, keep the hands up. How many of you actually know that MAS has a fintech vertical? No? We're getting lesser.
Yes.
How many of you actually know what Sopnendu does?
And
all the hands are going down.
This is good. Now we'll understand.
Yes. I think, please. I think you could share the audience a little bit more about what you guys do and everything as well.
I think people think us as a regulator in many cases, but we also do a big part of our job is to promote innovation, promote adoption of technology, because we believe the future of financial sector lies in this whole shift from a physical to a digital world. And what are the technology and underlying architecture will drive it is very close to us. And because there are certain financial stability implications, because if you don't use the right technology, if you don't understand the relevance of the new technology, you may actually end up losing a lot of customer into the whole space. So how do we get the industry to the right space is a big part of our effort.
Is it more of being, so basically from a central bank perspective,
yes.
It's about continuing to innovate, to be relevant. Is this more about continuing to stay relevant or staying ahead of the game, leading the narrative?
I think it's both, because ultimately our job is to be relevant to the people we serve. And we have to be meaningful to this community. We have to be responsible to ensure the financial services are relevant in the way it is designed today and as it gets redesigned to the future.
Yeah. So the thing here is that this is a little bit unique. So correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there are that many or any central banks that take this stance anywhere in the world.
I don't want to pompous here, but I think I'll take it. And I will say that we have been very different in our strategy. We have been very experimental in our approach, and we have been highly inclusive in taking new ideas. How challenging be like BlockShow?
Oh, thank you. So, I like that. I didn't plan that plugin. So the question here. You recently, just in case you guys don't know, SFF, Singapore FinTech Festival, very successfully run. You guys had 8 stages, 60,000 people. It's about the same size as the number of people we have here over the last 3 days and everything. And I think if you look at the media junket, the first 2 things that comes out, like announcement that was being made. Second one was Project Ubin, right? The first one, is actually a Singapore blockchain ecosystem report.
Yes.
Which you guys did with Consensus. You signed off on it personally. Your name's on page 3 or 4.
Yes, yes.
And Temasek as well. And it's distributed by Tribe Accelerator.
Yes.
Right? Can you tell us a little bit more about the report, what it covers, and what's the... It's like, okay, before the report was launched, just for everybody's benefit, I wanted to ask Sopnendu here the question, how important is the blockchain narrative, in the whole so-called fintech progress, which MAS is leading, right? And basically, after the report was announced, right, and obviously I got a hand of it, that question is no longer relevant, right? I'm assuming, courageously right now, that blockchain's a very important vertical element in this entire thing. I mean, you even have a chart, I remember, saying that from 2022 to 2030, right, the growth of blockchain as an industry is going to go like, I don't know how many 100 times or something like that as well.
I think more than, I think all of you are from blockchain world. When President Xi Jinping announced everything in China will be blockchain, I think there's no bigger announcement, bigger endorsement to the world of blockchain what President Xi Jinping in China announced. I think everybody in China is talking about blockchain. But before that, people don't realize in Singapore, especially MAS, put a huge bet on this technology.
Yes.
This project
3 years ago, right?
3 years ago, absolutely. When everybody in the world were dismissing blockchain as an hive, we were the only regulator, we were the only institution which we took this whole thing seriously. I think that's something we did, and we have been consistent on that. The project Ubin has been going for 3 years. And
it's of stage 5.
And the stage 5, the report explains that. And I think what you've learned here is that, in our view, blockchain is going to be the future architecture of our financial sector. It has to be. And I say that with a lot of risk, because if you look at the digital world, there are 3 big positives: faceless, presenceless, and what you call faceless, presenceless, and paperless. And these are all good because that's the online world we're dealing with. But there's one negative called trustless, which is almost an counterintuitive to this whole positive thing. And the only platform which can get trustless to trust is the blockchain world. So if we don't invest in this technology, which is primarily focused in decentralizing trust, I think we have a problem, unless there's a better thing comes in the near future. So that's the genesis of this trust. And to prove that is right, we took head-on our financial payment system as a use case to drive it. And we've done the experiment. We have some a conclusion from now. But there are a few things which came very strongly, which I think the future is going to ride on, is the cross-border payment, securities DVP as an example, and the third is the whole trade finance piece.
Yep.
And these 3 things are going to drive the blockchain ecosystem in a bigger way. And I think if there, in this audience there are people who are investing their money and time on the blockchain, don't lose hope. What I see, 2020 is the year of productionalization of blockchain in a big way.
Yeah, that's one thing. So a couple of questions very quickly with regards to that. You said, and I saw you on YouTube, basically. At MIT, June, right? You mentioned that you guys have been developing a series of DLTs, obviously the project will be in stage 5, everything. You spent 3 years experimenting, developing it. 2020 is the year you guys are going to roll it out.
Yes. I think our promise is by 2020, and if I don't make it, if you come to Singapore FinTech Festival, I'll admit it, we didn't make it. That's a promise. But by 2020, we will get to one production-grade case on the blockchain space. Absolutely. I think that's why I'm pushing the team to. Even we don't get it, let the private sector do it in partnership with us.
And is that the Apex thing? No.
No, so that's the blockchain project Ubin piece.
Okay.
But the Apex piece is quite different. It is a complete different platform for doing something else.
Yeah. So just for everybody's benefit, so we've got Project Ubin, right? We've got Apex.
Yes. We look like a software company.
Yes, and the Business Innovation Center.
Yes.
Right. And we also have
GTCN.
GTCN. Anything else I missed out? Because it's like this.
So what essentially we've done, there are three things we have focused on. Can we make the small businesses connect each other? That's the business sense border. That's a big experiment, and it is going to be piloted the first quarter this year, connecting SMEs from India, Philippines, many countries through a Singapore-based gateway called Business Sense Border. Epix is interesting, especially for the audience here. Epix allows you to connect and experiment with the banks on cloud, the whole fintech ecosystem. Today, if you look at the fintech ecosystem, half of them die because the biggest pain point is banks don't experiment with them in a smart way. Epix solves that problem. You can do hundreds of POCs at a very fractional cost, and banks can participate on the network, and you have solved the first leg of the innovation.
How fast are we talking about?
We're talking a couple of days. You can get your POC done off the bank's database or data set of Epix platform. Very fast. I strongly recommend to all look at it. If you have a blockchain solution, a blockchain API, and you think you are solving a particular bank's middle office, back office, front office problem, get onto the platform, tell us which bank you want to experiment, we'll get you there.
Apix is API
exchange.
The API exchange.
Basically. API X, you can Google and find out about the platform.
So we were talking about this backstage, right? And I think just for the audience's benefit as well, which is that you've got all of these different products, if I can call that, and you mentioned this, which put it, comes to light, so you're basically taking the lead in moving everything to like platform, platform focus, that kind of thing. So it's everything is now focused on building platforms for people, and that's the future. The question I have is that we just mentioned like Project Ubin, et cetera. What glues it all together? If I'm a blockchain startup, or I'm building something in a blockchain, or if I'm the next second coming of a JP Morgan coin or something. How does it all glue together?
So if you are a blockchain company, if you are a blockchain investor, you are solving an SME problem, get into the business sense border. If you are a blockchain company, blockchain founder, investing in blockchain, get into Epix platform if your clientele is a bank. So do the global trade connectivity. It is a program which we are doing in multiple countries for the trade finance to connect. There are a lot of trusted data to be exchanged in the platform. Come to the marketplace and find yourself relevant in the platform. So our idea is that we'll build this global platform solving real need, and all the fintech tech companies who are solving this problem will go to as a marketplace, and from there they'll connect to this endpoint ecosystem. That's the platform focus. Again, it sounds very unusual for a regulator to drive this, but I believe that's perhaps the best model for us.
Because most regulators will basically just say, yes, you can, and no, you can't.
Yeah, but I think that's the choice. I think but they have different constraints. For us in Singapore, we are far more flexible. We can build platform, we can bring you together, and we can have a very strong engineering discussion. And I think because of the skill set we have, we can have that discussion.
And what just very quickly, right? How did all this, I mean, this is like going 3 questions back, but how did all this happen? Like, who woke up one day and decided, like, you know what? Is it because Singapore is a small country? Is it because we already are a financial hub? Like, what inspired all of this?
Oh, I think.
How
did I get this job?
How do you get this job, really? If you think about it,
so
right?
If that's the big question asking,
he's hiring.
So I think that it was an accident. It is an experiment by MAS itself to hire a person like me to pick up.
So you were experiment number 1.
Yes. So I am the experiment number 1 as a chief fintech officer. And in fact I was making a fun. If imagine I told my bosses, look, who will want to be a chief digital officer in the era of .com bubble? So I was hoping that as a chief fintech officer, this doesn't bust by the time I'm done with my job, and it becomes highly irrelevant. So I have tried very hard to keep this fintech relevant, and that's the reason that I don't know how they gave the job, but I'm sure we worked out very nicely. And I'm very thankful the ecosystem in Singapore came together to work with me and help the whole agenda to move. And from a regulatory standpoint, we have been very flexible. We have sandboxes.
Yes.
We have policies to allow a lot of this experiment to succeed. We are the first regulator to allow cloud to be accepted in a sector. We are the only regulator who has a published API guidelines. So having these policies out there helped this community to grow, and I am very thankful. After 5 years and look back, it is a remarkable journey.
And the Singapore FinTech Festival is also one of the results
Yeah, result of that.
of that. How many of you here actually went to SFF the last few days and everything like that? I know you did.
But before you know what, people ask me what I do in SFF. There are 3 things I do in SFF every year. People ask me, where is the toilet? They ask me, where is the coffee? And the last question, because they look at, I'm an Indian, a lot of Indians ask me, where is the Indian food? and the reason they ask me, not because they don't know me, there's a tag I carry called the organizer, and there's a big V.
Oh, yeah,
And they say, because the big V, they think this guy can make choices faster. And so, okay, ask him, where's the coffee? So that's what I do.
The only first thing for SFF, the only question I had was where was the exit? Not that I wanted to run out, but because there was like one in and one out. There were like 6 halls. You had to walk all the way back,
Yes.
just to get out everything. So you had to walk through everything. But I want to talk on SFF because there was a huge blockchain presence, physical blockchain
Absolutely.
presence at the event and everything like that. And you know what? Honestly, what was funny? And I don't know, for those of you who were at SFF, I don't know whether you guys noticed it, right? To me, on day one, everybody, there was that, everybody remembers the huge Ripple booth, right? With a lot of lights and everything. But everybody was walking past it, right? And after you guys made all those announcements, you guys had that project Ubin, everything like that, people actually started stopping.
Yes.
People actually started stopping at the booths, right? I saw people at the Ripple booth, I saw people at the Crypto.com booth. All these people were literally stopping, trying to find out more and everything. I mean, obviously some of it were more out of curiosity than real business conversations. It happens, right? But what I wanted to say is that most of the time, innovation is always driven by, some people say entrepreneurs, corporates, but it seems that indirectly, this interest in innovation, which is blockchain, seems to be driven by the government.
Yes. Because there's a big announcement by IMDA.
Yes, the accelerator as well.
Yes, and we are going to put a lot of effort behind the blockchain as a bigger ecosystem. So if in Singapore, absolutely agree. There's a huge focus on this particular ecosystem, the blockchain ecosystem. And I think it will continue to be there in near future.
All right. So we mentioned about the rollout 2020.
I thought you'll ask the question, the Libra question, which people were.
We've still a little bit of time.
I hope the video doesn't get viral. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, there was a panel on digital assets. We had a PBOC. We had Krishna Ketalani from Libra on stage as well, and Farouk from JP Morgan Coin, right? So basically, everybody was asked this question in the audience. We're going to try this here as well. I'm not going to tell you whether he raised his hand or not, but. What was it again? Facebook.
Are you going to use Libra if Facebook introduces?
Yeah, if Libra gets launched, will you use it? Will you use it? Like hands. No, nobody wants to use it. What are we going to use? Bitcoin? Seriously? But the second question was, would you use it and give everything to Facebook, right? The condition for you to use Libra as a currency is that all your data, everything, Facebook has complete access, like Skynet level access to everything about you. Will you guys still use Libra?
No. Oh, there's a couple of.
No, she's shaking it. He's definitely shaking his head and everything like that. So the funny thing was that you actually said, yeah. You raised your hand. You're like, yeah, sure.
No. Just to clarify, me and my governor were raised hand at the first question. Yeah. The second question was like this.
You went down a little bit. No, okay. I personally went down all the way.
Yes. I think the reason, I hope the Facebook doesn't use as a marketing promotion now. I think reason I think we both raised the hand is because we strongly believe if anybody is solving real problem, why not? Why not? But that comes with a lot of responsibility from a regulatory standpoint. They have to comply with KYC. They have to comply with anti-money laundering and the terrorism financing. They must comply with consumer protection. If Facebook is willing to comply to these fundamental principles of governance and regulation, why not? If it is better system, why not? So our view is that we should not create a bias of not going in a positive way. but it comes with this riders. So our hand went up with a lot of riders, which means it is up there, but it comes with the cost of governance and regulation. And I hope they got that message.
But do you think but the feedback from them, I mean, like the EU's like totally shut them out, right?
Yes.
The EU's like totally shut them
But
out and everything.
my argument is that we need to have a logical reason to shut them down. All we did is we tell these are the regulations.
Yep.
This is the principles of which we run. If you are operating in Singapore, here are things you must comply. And by the way, if you all don't know, by first quarter of this year, a new payment service bill is coming. And if you look at the payment service bill, there's a section around wallet and all the token currencies. And they have to comply to that. And my view is if you are doing Libra or anything, and if you can comply to a regulation, why should I stop you? And why should I prejudge you that you don't want to comply? Because Facebook has not told they don't want to comply. So if they are willing to comply to regulations, why not?
Will you adjust the regulations?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a level playing field for everybody. It's the level playing field. Everybody has to comply to level playing regulations. We cannot create exceptions.
Understand. Interesting. We've got 10 minutes left. I'm just going to very quickly see whether we've got any questions. I actually totally forgot about Slido.
So we run out of your questions.
Don't know. No, don't have. Okay, we'll follow on that.
The question from the audience.
Yes, we do. All right. Why don't we have a look? We'll see which one we want to answer.
No, why don't you ask any question? I'll leave it to you.
Leave it to me.
Yes.
Oh.
Find the most...
Actually, I have one. It's kind of related to what this guy is asking here. I have it actually in my list, which I wanted to ask you. There's something that you said, again, at another event, that really stuck in my head because it just rhymes. Let me see whether if you recall it. You said this, 3 clicks, 0 fees.
Yes.
So basically what I'm talking about is that we're talking about retail banking.
Yes.
Right? At Singapore, domestically, because we've got PayNow, and PayLah, and all these things, everything is 3 clicks, immediate, 0 fees.
Yes.
Right? You can send money just with your mobile number, etc., etc., etc. And I recall you said that for the domestic retail market, we don't need blockchain, right?
What I said that for domestic market, you don't need to have a digital currency.
I don't have digital currency, sorry.
Yes, yes. So that was my point. And I said that because we looked at what you're solving for. 2 years back, or 3 years back, we had a problem in moving money efficiently. We didn't have a problem. We had a problem. We used to move instant money because we had a faster payment system, but the experience was very bad. So what we did, we introduced a platform called Central Addressing System, where every resident in Singapore can map their bank account to a mobile phone number or a national ID. Now, what did it do? It allowed all of us in Singapore to send money to each other by just asking what is your mobile number and or what is your national identity. I put there, put money, done. 3 steps, click, gone, 0 cost.
Yes.
Now, which application in the world can match 3 steps, 0 cost, account-to-account transfer? So we solved a problem. There's nothing more for us to solve in the digital space of retail currency, retail digital currency.
Actually, you answered my question because what I also wanted to follow up to ask you is that has that stance changed?
No, it has not changed because we don't find a compelling reason to have a retail CBDC. However, so that we don't, because this is a much bigger space, I don't know how many do anybody knows in this audience, there's one country which has issued retail bank digital currency. Can anybody say which country has done it? One country.
Shout it out, anybody else?
Sorry?
Marshall Islands.
No. Only one country, central bank has issued a digital currency for retail customers. It is Cambodia. And all of you should go and check it out. It's the National Bank of Cambodia issued a coin called Bakong, B-A-K-O-N-G. Google it for yourself. And I see there is a good reasons for them to do it because they were solving an inclusion problem there. And why did they do it? Because there are places in Cambodia which has no access to the real-time payment system. So central bank issued a wallet and the customers can use that to download digital currency and use for payments in the local ecosystem. So this, to me, is a very inspiring story. Maybe Singapore is not the right place to issue digital currency on the retail side. Other countries should do it if it is relevant to them. End of the day, it is about solving people's need. And if it is relevant, do it. We see a value in cross-border. And our public view is that the wholesale bank digital currency will take shape because that is going to solve the cross-border part of the whole problem. And that's what we are going to put a lot of effort on.
Got it. Understand. Got this very interesting question. It's not a hard question to answer, but I think it's something that gets talked about a lot. If I can sidestep, just not talking about blockchain, but this is blockchain companies, people, exchanges, crypto exchanges, etc. It's very well-known knowledge among the industry that for me to start a private limited in Singapore, easy. For me to get a bank account in Singapore, right? It's more challenging than climbing Mount Everest. What do you have to say about that?
This is for foreigners coming to...
Yes, foreigners or even Singapore people.
So what you've done is that we have launched in partnership with the GovTech and Smart Nation, something called MyInfo. MyInfo allows you to open a bank account, and all the data you need to open a bank account is out there in MyInfo. One click with consent, you can send all the data to the bank. Bank will open an account instantly. I do understand only 70% of the population have been covered because there are some segment which is not in the MyInfo. With that platform, we are able to now make the whole bank account onboarding very, very fast and simple, straight through just one consent click. And the data goes to bank. So that has been solved. Now, banks are accountable to do a proper assessment of when they do this account opening. I think the problem with the question is out there on the SME accounts. I think that's the real, that's the question. And in SME account, there are effort being put together. I think our governor spoke last time that we are looking at building an SME business KYC platform. And once that comes, hopefully next year, the process of opening a business account becomes simpler, and because it is straight through golden source, and hopefully will solve the problem which the question is trying to highlight. Yes, that's the problem to be solved, and the answer to that is build a public utility for business KYC.
Got it. 3 minutes left. I think we can wrap it up, more or less. Final words for the audience, just for them, right? For everyone. 3 reasons why we should continue to be excited about the industry in 2020.
Blockchain.
Yes.
Okay. This is my personal view, and I think my big bet that the one sector which will take off big time in this space is the trade finance piece. All SME financing, the supply chain, that is going to consume...
DBS has just announced
just started.
Yeah, the DBS Trafalgar.
I can tell you, every country is going to get into the bandwagon of supply chain. And if you are playing in that space, you have an extremely high chance of success. Again, coming back to China announcement, China is going to drive that big time. And by the way, I saw Jackie Lee. Okay, good. So if China says something, it has got a huge impact on everybody. And if China is betting on blockchain, all of us should do that more and more, follow the trend. So that's one big piece. The second piece which will happen, I think in my view, is the entire efficiency of the asset, the securities, the bonds, that efficiency. That's a big play, institutional play. And the third piece, hopefully we get it right, is the cross-border payment piece. If that comes in, there's a third sector I'm excited to see blockchain being adopted. But who knows, there are new surprises, sustainability, and I want to take a big bet on that, because if you think about, we are going to finance...
There's a new grant or something.
Sorry, I completely forgot that piece.
Yes.
The fourth bet on that, not three, fourth bet, is the whole effort to drive green finance. Now in green finance, there are 3 big problems: how to monitor, how to measure, and how to mobilize finance for green assets.
Put it on the blockchain.
Guess what? Yeah. The only technology I know now which can do that is blockchain.
Put it on the blockchain.
And there's a by estimate, by 2025, the total green finance development will be running in
Let's hide this.
300, 400 billion dollar of investment.
Yes.
And that's all going to green finance. They need technology, desperate. You guys out there and solve that problem. If you want to run a campaign today or tomorrow, run a green finance on blockchain. You will get it.
Right. And in conclusion, based on that, can I also say MAS is willing to work with anybody legit?
Yes. Yeah, legit and good and know your customer.
Of course. Anyway.
Okay.
Sopnendu, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Everybody, Mr. Sopnendu Mohanty, thank you very much.